Welcome to Title Talk with your host, Drew Wishover, entrepreneur, a published author, and owner of Inspired Title Group, along with his co-host and CEO, Amy Maley. Each week, they offer you some laughs, industry terminology, tips and strategies, along with the occasional real estate professional to help educate you as it pertains to buying, selling, or just plain old homeownership. Thanks for spending time with them. Now, let's jump into today's episode of Title Talk.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Title Talk. My name is Drew.
My name is Amy.
We are Inspired Title Group. We are here today with a special guest that we are very excited to talk to today. We are super happy to have him on. Not only is he a friend, he is an attorney that we work with often. Very well versed in the real estate world. He is known as, I've deemed him as the after the fact attorney. So when you guys have a problem, he's the guy to probably go to when nobody else can figure it out.
That was your nickname?
Yeah.
You came up with that?
Yes.
Kudos. It is so fitting. It is so perfect. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
And Faisal has been working with us for many years, and I was just excited to have him come on here with us today to share his wealth of knowledge and talk to you guys about some of the things that are going on in the industry, some of the things that you might start to see happen. Maybe you've got some questions, maybe you're wondering about what's happening in the market with regard to forbearance and foreclosures and short sales and things. So without any further ado, Faisal, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's always an honor and pleasure to be here. I love you guys. I don't say that about a lot of people. Yes, so thank you very much for having me.
No, we absolutely appreciate you, and we've just kind of grown closer together. You develop relationships with people, and you probably get closer to clients or closer to people that you work with than you do to clients. And it's, you spend a lot of time with them, and you really learn a lot about them through sharing that time. And what I've seen Faisal do, and what I've seen him accomplish with some of these deals, you're just kind of going, wow, that's brilliant, and that really makes us feel good as a company to share that with our clients and be able to speak that confidently to saying, if you can't get it done, don't worry, we probably have somebody that can get this done, and he can really help you through that process. So why don't we start out by having you introduce yourself, tell them about you a little bit, and the first question that everybody asks, or I like to ask everybody, is why real estate attorney? Why'd you do that?
It's a very good question. I will say that in order for me to be good at what I do, it takes a team of people, right? And our ability to be effective and to close those types of crazy, creative, complicated deals requires an amazing title company. It really does. I've done work with most, if not all, the majors and a lot of smaller ones, and many of them are just way too skittish and just don't have in my opinion, my opinion,
Yeah.
a solid grasp of the nuances of real estate law.
Right.
And to have a partner such as Inspired, you, Amy, Brittany, John, Miguel, has been very helpful in order to accomplish some of those things. So about me, why real estate? So I'm actually a chemist by trade. My undergraduate degree was in chemistry.
I don't share that conversation often because people go, huh?
Yeah.
Great.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't make that up. That's real.
I used to manufacture hair care and skincare products, and shampoos
Okay.
and conditioners and
Okay.
stuff. Yes. So, but that was, it seems like a lifetime ago. But real estate, interestingly enough, what got me into it was just going through my own financial troubles, right? My own financial experiences, struggling with my own foreclosures, struggling with my own debt issues.
Attorneys have trouble?
We don't talk about it, but it's like a therapist has his own therapist.
Yes. And they all do.
Yeah. Attorneys have our own attorneys,
Yes,
right?
yes, that is true.
And interestingly enough, though, most attorneys go through life, they've never been sued. because they go from undergraduate to law school to their job, and so they never really get sued, so they never experience that. And the only time they do is if they have a death in the family, so they go through probate, or
Right.
they have a divorce and they go through divorce stuff. But in terms of experiencing what their clients are experiencing,
Mhm.
it's almost never.
Wow. That's
So
interesting.
I think what gives me and our team a unique perspective is that I've experienced what my clients are experiencing.
For sure.
So I've gone through that foreclosure, I've gone through that fight with a credit card company, I've gone through that student loan issue. So it gives a different perspective on how to approach it, gives me a different passion, also triggers me some you know, let's be upfront about it, right? That's the therapist for me, right? So for me, the real estate piece, reason I got into it was I was just, you know, like I'm really good at it, and I love the nuances of the law.
Mhm.
And so
Oh, yes, you do.
No
I do.
comment.
Yes,
I
you
do.
do.
I do. I don't break the rules. I just find a way to work with the rules.
Right. And that's literally what we spoke of at the onset of this interview was that takes time, and not only does that take time, but it also takes the wanton knowledge to kind of go behind the scenes to look at the laws and the rules and regulations of whatever the issues are or whatever the questions are to help finding that result that is in the favor of the client. You know, this is something that I've seen day in and day out. You know, every time Brittany gets a new deal that's Faisal's, and her line is, "We got another Faisal deal," but with all due
You know,
respect,
to
it's true.
suddenly be like your name becomes an adjective.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh.
So I got
Always.
phasal, or
You-
Yes.
I'm gonna do a phasal,
Right.
or
Well, that's a verb too.
right.
You know, it could be a
yes.
verb.
That's true.
You know,
That's
you know,
true. That
but,
is true.
But isn't it awesome that you are now classified in? I mean, you're growing in the whole, you know, kind of world of you know, literacy.
yes.
You know, you're becoming just a well-known spoken word.
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna need a deflator to get my head
Yeah.
in shape just to get out the door. Here.
Oh, don't worry, we
Yes.
got a whole lot of
I'm
people
sure.
that can help you out with that too.
I find that's an interesting part, right? People are like, you know, oh my God, why are you like that? And they're like, well, we need you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's like there's a people may not like what they deal with, but
Right.
yeah. So one of the things I tell my clients is, look, you may not need me right now, but when things go sideways, I'm the only one that you.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that you're going to need to be on that front.
And
line.
I've heard
So-
you openly say that to some clients, and I've heard you say that to say, well, not right now, but eventually.
Right.
You know, it's you know, it is not never. It's just it's gonna happen.
Right.
It's just when.
Just when.
You know, and that's interesting. So why don't we kind of, if you guys have any questions, please, this is a great opportunity to shout out some questions and you know, put it in the queue there, and Brittany can let us know. But if you have any questions for Faisal, he would be more than happy to answer those questions. I'll obviously absorb the bill because attorneys don't do anything for free. So that will be on the Inspired Title tab, so don't worry about that. We'll take care of that for you. I'm sure there will be a bill after this is over. But please ask a question. We're happy to help here. Why don't we talk about some of the three big things that people are maybe wondering and questioning. We've got forbearance, foreclosure, and short sales.
Yep.
There is a substantial difference between the three.
There is, and I'll briefly hit them.
Yeah.
The forbearance essentially was, the idea of the forbearance is I'm forbearing, pushing off my payments to another time period or pushing it off to later. And it really became a big thing, the CARES Act. And if you haven't, or if you have, there are an overwhelming number of violations of the CARES Act committed by servicers and lenders after this COVID piece. And so, so forbearance was offered through the CARES Act, which was the COVID-19 act passed by Congress, which essentially said you can, if you have a COVID impact on you financially, whatever that may be, and it could just be like, hey, I got a COVID issue. Like
That's all you needed.
That's all you needed.
Yeah.
I got COVID issue, whatever it was, that was enough. And so you didn't have to, you were allowed to not make your mortgage payments. I'm so sorry. Not to make your mortgage payments for a period of up to 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Then that full amount was to be added to the back end of your loan.
Okay.
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 So here's where the servicers took advantage of people. Well, let me finish the other two. So
Yeah,
short
yeah.
sales is I owe $500,000 on my house. It's worth $300-400. I can sell it for $300 or $400, and the bank will forgive the balance. That's a short sale.
Right.
And I don't have.
Yeah. Forgive.
Forgive.
You'll still have a little liability there.
No, actually, in the short sale piece, if it's done right, it should
Yes.
forgive it completely.
Yeah.
Should, yes.
And that is
It's
a
done
part of the
correctly.
agreement, and that's where people miss that. They don't actually get that fully.
Right.
Correct.
And the benefit of the short sale is to avoid what the third thing is, which was the foreclosure,
Right.
which essentially is I can't pay my mortgage or can't afford to pay my mortgage. So now the bank is going to file a foreclosure action, a lawsuit to try to take the property. So the good news about the short sale versus the foreclosure is in the foreclosure you will end up with a deficiency judgment.
Right.
Correct.
So, and we're seeing it now that people who got foreclosed on from the 08 crisis, they're now coming after all these people with deficiency judgments
Question,
15 years later.
for people listening, a deficiency judgment.
Deficiency judgment is, if you remember in the short sale, you owed $350, but the house is worth, you owed $500 and the house is worth $350.
Right.
That $150 difference
Goes by
goes to zero, goes
Yeah.
away. In a foreclosure, deficiency judgment says, we're gonna take your house, we're gonna throw you out, and on top of that, you still owe us $150,000.
Right.
And it's a judgment that lasts for 21 years.
21 years.
So, what we're seeing now is people who got deficiency judgments 7, 8, or 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
they're now coming after them, and it's not the same lender. So what the lenders do is they sell that judgment
Right.
for pennies on the dollar.
Right.
And so some random company out of Arizona, Nevada, California,
Mhm.
whatever,
Yeah.
comes in and starts pursuing, going after you for that deficiency judgment. So we're gonna see a huge uptick in bankruptcies over the next few years, I believe, based solely on that piece alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
Based on
dangerous.
what happened 10 years ago.
Correct.
And there's really, I mean, you can't start soon enough to get ahead of the curve, because letting this go or just setting it and forgetting it is the worst thing to do.
Yep.
You really need to be proactive,
Yes.
and if it looks like it's going down that path for you, it doesn't mean you're a deadbeat. It doesn't mean that you're frowned upon or judged. It just means that, things have happened in life, and we all know that with COVID and obviously with what happened in the crash of 08.
Life happens.
But recognize that there's people out there that can help
Right.
get you ahead of this.
Right. And there's a lot of societal shame around money.
It is, yes.
Right?
it is.
So if you don't have enough because the Joneses, you're not making as much as
Yeah,
the Joneses,
right.
or you overspent and so now you're in financial trouble. They're like, oh, how could you be so irresponsible?
Right.
And I think that's just hogwash, right? It's really the banks have created this false moral obligation around debt, and it just perpetuates itself. So the worst thing you can do, right, is to just ignore it, like you said, because the chickens always come home to roost.
It'll come back, yeah.
Right? They'll
It's-
always find a way to circle back
Yeah.
and hit you with it, and the best way to deal with it is to deal with it head on.
Yes.
And the problem is, it takes a lot of stomach to do so.
It's not fun. It's not easy. Yeah.
I remember speaking to one of my mentors. We were walking back from a hearing or a court case, and I had just become a new lawyer, and we were representing me on my stuff, right?
Yeah,
So, and I was like, "Question for you. You've been practicing for 30 years," and I said, "Do you still get butterflies in your stomach when you receive a letter or a document in the mail or an email from an opposing counsel?"
Mm-hmm.
And at first he was like, "Well, no." And I said, "No, I know that we can handle it.
Sure.
The question is,
Right.
do you still get that initial butterfly feeling and that anxiety
have
that
to.
builds up?" And the answer was yes.
I was, yeah.
right. I mean, I've been doing this for it'll be 10 years now
Okay.
as an attorney. I did it for 5 or 7 years pro se.
Yeah.
Right. I had mastered the motion to quash service like a champ. Right. So I would say I've been doing this for quite some time.
yeah.
and I still get the anxiety and I still get the work.
That like tightness, yeah.
Absolutely. So people who aren't experiencing this, it's even more amplified because they don't know what to do.
Sure.
And knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So back to the forbearance piece, which I
Right.
think is where we're going to see a lot of these things. And I was just talking about this with David Rittenhouse, one of our partners at the firm. He's the senior partner at the firm, and the lenders would come in. You do your forbearance, and before the 18 months are up, they're like, okay, well, we're not going to give you an extension. So they're like, well, wait a minute, I have a forbearance, and so unless you knew, like I, as seasoned as I was, know that we had 18 months, and they convinced me I didn't.
Right.
Right.
I had to go back and fight back, try to re-get my additional 6 months that we needed, right? And then the next thing they would do, so just to understand how the system works, the servicers make their money when you pay your mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not their money. When you pay your mortgage payment, that the servicer, that's not their money.
Right.
That's an investor's money, right? So a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, HUD, or some other hedge fund
Yep.
that they get the mortgage payment. So, but there's about 1 to 5% off the top that the servicer gets, and that's how they get paid.
Right.
So if they weren't getting paid for 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't able to collect their 1 to
Right.
5% cream off the top.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is when you go to renew or say, okay, now my 18 months are over, the services are like, oh, you have to make this bulk payment.
Of that one, that
This
percentage
bulk
off the
payment.
top, yeah.
Yes. So they're saying instead of taking the entire balance, so the entire balance goes to the end,
Mm-hmm.
the whole balance. So if you went 18 months with no payments and your payments was $3,000 a month, just picking a number, it's a really nice house if you're paying $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
But let's say it's $3,000 a month, and month 19, you start paying $3,000 a month again.
Right.
That's it. No other payments, nothing else. But servicers tricked so many people, my ex included, to go ahead, and I had to drop that in there, to drop the entire amount and say, look, you have to pay the high.
I'm sure she's not watching. Yeah, could you slide over? I don't want the lightning to hit on this side.
The entire amount, or make this big lump payment. So you had people who are paying $5,000, $10,000, $15,000.
God.
Why is that a problem? So
Well, I can think of
for many
700
reasons. But the thing that COVID did, it gave people the ability to breathe
Right.
financially,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? In many cases, people lost their jobs and had financial issues, and I'm not discounting that. That is, but for a swath of people, collecting some income and not having to pay a housing expense, right? Not going out and spending money, not going to bars and drinking or restaurants or whatever
Right.
the case may be. Everybody's at home Amazoning though.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't talk about
those are
Amazon
outside.
bills during COVID.
Yes, Carol.
Savings went up through the roof,
Mhm.
right? So people had this reserve that they've never had before in their entire life.
Right.
And now what's happening is the banks and these lenders and these judgment creditors, which they know that people have this money, are now going after that money,
Right.
right? Which creates a whole other area of law, right?
Mhm.
Asset protection. But so the thing is, they're taking that money and they're paying it to the banks as opposed to keeping it in their coffers. So what we're working on right now is identifying what laws have they broken
Mm-hmm.
by doing that. And one of them is, you got the Illinois Consumer Fraud Act,
Mm-hmm.
you got the Federal Deceptive Practices Act that are out there. There's no cause of action under the CARES Act that allows you to sue them for violating the CARES Act.
Mm-hmm.
But however, if they misrepresented or they, induced you to make a payment that you weren't supposed to make
Mhm.
or you shouldn't have made, that could be an issue, and could be a claim that you can raise. And those claims have attorney fee shifting provisions, which allows you to collect attorney's fees from the bank for making the violation.
As complex as it sounds, it is. I mean, it's really hard to simplify this and put this into layman terms. That's why the need for the real estate professionals is so great on all of these accounts, because what Faisal does, what realtors do, what we do as title company is we kind of go to bat for you. We get in front of it for you. Now, that doesn't mean that there's nothing for you to do. That that just means that, there's gonna be a lot of questions brought upon you, and there's gonna be a lot of documentation that you're gonna have to fill out to answering, your state of the state and your financial wherewithal, et cetera.
Right.
So those things are gonna fall upon you, but the representation is really strong in getting this done correctly and protecting you to the highest degree. Because, I mean, could a layperson really go in and walk through a forbearance or walk through a short sale or foreclosure unscathed?
I think the foreclosure and the short sale, no, that you definitely need real estate professionals who know this space,
Yes.
right? And a real estate agent who got a certificate and maybe did even 5 short sales is not qualified.
Well,
There's a lot of real estate brokers and sales professionals who are like, oh, I've done short sales and I did the class, and yeah. I mean, you want to work with someone who's done 50 or more short sales, right? Because again, knowledge is power. Knowing where to push back and how to push back
Right.
on the short sale lender is important. On the forbearance piece, I would say yes,
okay.
right? But again, it's knowledge is power.
Right.
So dealing with a forbearance lender and you don't know what your rights are, they'll trample all over you and convince you that
That they're right, you're wrong.
correct.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you this: the CARES Act specifically states the entire amount goes to the back end, the whole amount. So any upfront payments, any payments you got to make now, all of that is hogwash garbage and is just pure lies.
Right.
Okay. The other piece that we didn't talk about was loan modification.
Right.
Right? So
Definitely
loan
that.
modifications have, especially loan modification professionals, became this whole dangerous industry of people and scam artists
Yep.
trying to scam people. Pay me X number of dollars and I'll get you a loan mod.
Mm-hmm.
My recommendation is find an attorney, right? And
Don't try
and-
to do it
and-
yourself.
and don't. I mean, you can, but they're going to just run you
Yeah.
circles. And what we haven't seen is what does the loan modification world look like now versus 2008.
Yeah. It's gonna be different.
In 08, it was just they were ill-equipped and they didn't care about equipment.
I also think they were a little bit more protective because of what came down. I mean, the appraisers were scared to death to appraise a house. Lenders were scared to make deals because it wasn't perfect. That's loosened up in the last, 14 years for sure.
Yeah, and there's the nature of the. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the piece about the loan mod, we're not going to see how lenient they're going to be giving the loan mods.
Right.
That's what we don't know.
Yes.
In the 08 crisis, it was you send your documents 15 times and they're missing a page or this or that, and it's almost impossible to
Right.
get approvals.
Mm-hmm.
It was very difficult. It's not supposed to be difficult on this round.
Right.
Because again, the CARES Act, so here's the beautiful part, the CARES Act provides loan modifications and provides opportunities to allow for those to be much easier,
Good.
and to apply for those. But we don't know how it's gonna practically play out.
And loan modifications, just as like a,
So loan modification essentially, thank you very much, Amy.
Yeah, of
So
course.
loan modification is, hey, my payment was $3,000, I can't afford $3,000. So lower my payment to $2,000 and I can afford that.
Right.
So I'll still take a hit to my credit,
right,
but at least my payment is lower. And then I can make, 2-3 years of payments or whatever the case may be, and things will get better.
yeah.
Or the loan modification will be a 5-year period or a 4-year period. The thing that we have this round, and we didn't have in 08, was real estate prices.
Right.
So
That's true.
so real estate prices now, in the 08 crash, the values of the properties crashed. In this recession, or this round, it was a global pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So it was people got hit with income issues, but their houses are worth so much more,
Yes.
which creates a different dynamic, right? So now I can sell my house, but if you sell it, you can't find a place to move to
For sure.
because there's no inventory,
There's nothing.
right? We've got clients who are still in foreclosure from the last crisis that we've been defending for 3 to 5 years
Yeah.
or so. We had clients, which I thought was pretty funny, that when they got into foreclosure, obviously their credit is decimated.
Yes.
Right? And then by us defending them over the years, there's a 7-year period on the credit report
Mm-hmm.
that after 7 years, the negative reporting falls off your credit.
Right.
So by the time we got to the 7-year mark, their defaults on the mortgage had fallen off their credit report, and they had these great credit scores where they could go and buy
Game on.
or get a loan or refinance or do whatever they do.
So the other thing you can use him for is to prolong the process so that your credit gets better, for it to just drop off and go away. 'Cause that happens. That's
That
common.
does.
We have a question from a listener, if you are good to take. What is something that you wish your clients would know going into working with you?
Ooh.
Meaning, like, what would help a client be more prepared in a meeting with you? Maybe being truthful and really
Well, I was-
revealing everything?
I was gonna say that has to be part of like your struggles, right? Like having everybody lay out everything on the table in
Yeah,
front of you.
Yeah, it's funny. People are.
You look like you're sweating from that question.
I am.
Yes, because he's never really had
I'm
anyone
starting to
truthful.
itch.
I know,
right?
you look-
My
you
whole
look
body's
all-
itching. There's lawyer and truth, right?
Yes, right? Lawyer and
Um,
truth. Don't mix.
Truth. Well, everybody's truth is different, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
So those were very good questions. The issue is it's very most humans are complex, and their circumstances are complex. I think what helps us, it's very important for us to know that you know where you're at in your situation. So if a foreclosure's been filed, we need a copy of the complaint. We need copies of those documentation. We need to know when the next court date is. So those are things. I mean, those are things we can find out ourselves. But so what I tell people whenever they're looking for a lawyer, whether you're hiring me or anybody else, it's really important to prepare a quick narrative of what's going on. What happened? How did you get here? What's needed? What do you want to do? And where do you want to go?
Right.
What is your end goal
What's the end goal?
Tell your
objective?
story.
Yeah.
It's good advice.
That's something that I suffered from when I was hiring my lawyers. Was I would hire them, and then like 9 months into it, they'd be like, "Okay, so what do you want to do now?" And I'm like, "We just spent umpteen thousands of dollars, and now you're asking me what my goal is? Like, I don't understand." What do you
Yeah.
mean?" So that's a major part of our representation is understanding where does the client want to go first.
Right.
And that could change. It's not locked in stone, but at least if we know where we're going, the destination, we can map a path and a route to get there. So I think to answer the question, a narrative of what's going on, what's happened, addresses, case numbers, those are all very helpful things. Now we can, if you don't have the complaint, you don't have court orders, finally Cook County court system has gotten up to speed, we can access that stuff all online.
Or they can ask their title company to find it for them.
Yeah. So I think that narrative is important. And then what do you want to do? Like, do you have kids who are in high school that you just want to finish the next 2-3 years out to get them out? Do you have little ones? Do you have an aging parent?
Because does that change your plan?
Yeah, I mean,
So,
because
like-
look, if you're saying that if you've got kids that have 3 more years of high school and you want to just finish it out, then we're talking about we're out there litigating.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're fighting the case, defending it, and pushing it out. If you're saying I can't afford this, I need to get out, right? Maybe it's a short sale.
Right, it's a
Maybe-
different plan of
Maybe it's
attack.
like, hey, I can do a loan mod,
Right,
or
right,
I've
right,
got a
right.
forbearance and I want to convert to the. So there, it changes the plan. What I do say this. So everybody asks this question: should I pay my mortgage, or should I pay
Right, during
this
the process.
or not? Right? Or
Right.
what do I do? And my personal, what I do for myself is my family comes first.
Right.
If I got to choose between paying a mortgage and feeding my kid, I'm feeding my kid.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever that may be. If I got to buy clothes, if I got to do things, my family comes first.
Right.
Which is a complete flip of the societal norm.
Right.
Right? Which is like starve yourself, drain out all your pension and your 401ks and your
Right.
IRA. Don't do that.
Right.
Never touch your IRA. Never touch your 401k because the bank can't touch that. Right? So, and I know I'm peppering a lot of different things here.
No, I think it's helpful because I think inherently those are questions that are in people that they either are afraid to ask or they don't know to ask or they're embarrassed because I would absolutely say that having to go to an attorney is maybe looked down upon because it results in
You're
a
admitting you have a problem that
exactly.
yeah.
Right.
So transparency is big because
Makes it hard to get reviews.
it does.
Because people are like, wait a minute, I'm reviewing a foreclosure defense attorney?
Yeah.
But what?
But
Right.
You're going to that attorney to help you with a problem. Believe me, they've seen it, they've done it, it's probably been worse. So your story is not going to be that much different than anything else that they've heard. So lay it out on the table. Because if they get down the line and you go, oh yeah, by the way, okay, well that absolutely, and that's where he excels. But inevitably, that's what he finds. You get 90% down the path, and all of a sudden, this thing comes out of the weeds and crushes you, and you're blindsided. You don't want the person who is working on your behalf to not have the knowledge and power
They're on
to
your side.
work on your behalf.
Right.
Why not give them everything? Put the pride down and go ahead and reveal all of it. He may not sit there. He's not going to sit there and judge this because it's going to create his plan of attack to absolutely represent you to the best ability that protects you and keeps you out of harm's way.
Right.
Right? I mean that's legitimately what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and if you are looking for a lawyer, looking for a professional, I would say talk to at least 3.
Yeah.
If you have not had a substantive conversation with at least 3 professionals, 3 attorneys, 3 real estate brokers, whatever it is, then you really haven't done what you needed to do.
I would agree,
And,
yeah.
and the reason for that is to get to 3, you got to talk to 5 or 10.
Yeah.
Right. And by getting to those 3 and having and the productive conversation is that narrative.
Right.
Right? So by sending that narrative and sending all that information, instead of your attorney spending an hour hearing your story, you're now talking to the attorney for an hour about what they think you should do.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So that's a
Absolutely.
huge shift, right?
Yeah.
And most attorneys may or may not do that. For me, I want my client, potential client, whatever it is, to understand what they're walking into, what their options are. And then once we decide that, we move forward. So, yeah,
Courtney said the sound went out.
Oh,
I heard it pop up.
that would be terrible.
Did the batteries die?
Uh-oh. Are we good?
This
Stand
was
by.
the banking system and the lobby coming in to stop
Now,
me.
we're back.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that, I didn't know if that was
Thanks,
something
Court.
from Russia or, what.
The Ukraine
could be
kind of
Oh
stuff.
God, don't
it
even.
could be, so.
Don't even.
But, again, I know you gotta get on to court here, and I really appreciate you coming in and taking a few minutes to share your story with our audience and maybe give them a little insight to
Yeah.
some things that they're thinking about or things that are definitively going on around us. Why don't you plug yourself before you get out of here and, share a little bit.
Yes, Mahmoud Faisal Khatib of counsel at EB Haas, attorneys at law. Our website is foreclosuredefenselawoffice.com or ebhaas.com.
You have
And
2?
we have so many.
There are, yes.
They're
yes.
big.
You're all connected. You're all
Absolutely get hold of them.
Yes, if you want to reach me, you can reach me. Or you can call our offices 312-375-72. I'm sure that's my cell phone.
Yeah, don't give them that one.
312-775-0980. And I think somewhere up
It was
there they're
scrolling
gonna-
up there.
What was funny was when Amy pointed, you actually looked up like you were actually going to see something.
I was like,
Which
what
was
is she
very
pointing at?
amusing.
Right.
I
It's
just
going
wanted
right
to-
there. There you
I
go.
just wanted to
What
point that out as
yeah.
he's going, how come I can't see it?
See this.
Uh,
Yes.
No, believe me, he's a
Bubbles
lot
right
smarter, than he looks.
Or reach out to us and we will put you in contact
Absolutely.
with him too.
Absolutely.
We are so thankful to have Faisal in as part of our team and worked so closely together on so many deals together, and
So lucky.
it just really helps out the whole process when you get to know somebody, you get to know their inner workings on what they do, and you build a relationship. And all kidding aside, his results are amazing, and his
He's a-
headspace
yeah.
is amazing.
Brilliant person to work
really,
with.
Really creative. So
Thank you.
we thank you for taking some time today to
Absolutely.
join us and
Thank
come
you,
out
sir.
here. We're going to go to a little bit of a clip here while Faisal departs. So stay tuned. We'll be back with some more live show. And we thank you again. And stand by. Here comes a great clip. and I'm really, really thankful to know him, call him friend. He really definitely brings a lot of knowledge. And,
So much.
I know he works very closely with you because you guys do the
Yeah.
the title stuff together, and he's really kind of brought some light to some things that you were
Oh,
working
yeah.
on as well.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I don't want to go too much longer without at least welcoming Amy back. It's really frustrating to look at in the camera and see the brown and the color in her face.
My
like,
teeth look really white
while
though.
we're all sitting here pale as hell and having to deal with the snowstorm when she was gone. But it is great to have you back.
It's great to be back.
The team absolutely missed you.
I missed being
it was
them.
really great.
My motivational minute is a little bit about that. So I'm
Well,
gonna.
it was really great to have you go, and I appreciated you kind of joining us last week with
Trying to.
we're still working out some of those little kinks, but it was definitely fun to have you take some time and refill your bucket and come back all ready to hit it again. So
I'm ready.
let's go into fun facts. Amy, why don't we start with you sharing yours?
The first fun fact is about me.
Oh, of course.
Because everybody needs to. I'm very selfish today.
Yeah, no, that's good. Bring it.
So while the snowstorm was happening and I was on a beach in Mexico, my sump pump went out.
Perfect.
So even though I was in Mexico having a great time, I got a phone call the day after we left that my basement had 2 inches of water in it.
Oh.
So luckily,
None of the gaming stuff got ruined.
gaming
did it?
stuff is okay.
Okay, good.
Don't
Good.
worry.
That's
That's
my
important.
first question.
Yeah, right? Because I'm sure that nobody cares about anything else. It's like, oh, did the gaming gear get wrecked?
And so as much as I was having my family is awesome, and luckily my Aunt Molly was there checking on my cat, and she was like, "We got a problem."
The cat was swimming.
The cat couldn't get to her litter box, and like,
Oh boy.
so we so luckily we had a really good friend come over and
Nice.
fix the sump pump the day it happened in that stormy, snowy weather. If you need a plumber, reach out to Mike Lowry. Good guy to work with. And so luckily our basement is like half finished. It's one of those like
Yep.
stick down carpets. So Lowry got all the water out. My parents spent about 6 hours at my house they ripped up all the carpet,
Oh
and
my.
shout out to my mom and dad.
Wow.
You guys are rock stars.
Wow.
So
Floyd
my-
and Roseanne
sorry, that
keep
was-
stepping it up.
That was a fun fact. I need to do my little shout outs.
Okay.
But
all right.
on the side note, it is National Toast Day. It is National Tortilla Chip Day.
Ooh.
And it is National Chili Day. So all I'm hearing is
Food.
food. Feed me now.
But that's all we've heard since you've left is like food. Not because of you leaving, but that's what this office is all about.
I like
Is
food.
food.
And then you get spoiled when you're at an all-inclusive
Yes.
place, and like I was
Yes.
eating every 14 minutes.
Yes.
There was just food
Yeah, so
everywhere.
just keep
so
pushing it in front of you.
yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so those are my little fun facts for the day.
Good. I have a couple. On this day in 1848, the first telephone book was issued. 1848, first telephone book. Why? Right? They used to hang on the wall. Some of you folks don't even.
Like by payphones, I remember those.
Right.
Yeah, I remember. I'm not-
Absolutely.
thank you for thinking I'm that young.
And in 1948, NASCAR was incorporated. So the first NASCAR was 1948.
You've
That's-
never really been a NASCAR fan. have
I'm
you?
not a real big NASCAR fan.
I was just wondering, yeah.
No, not at all. And then in 1965, on this date, February 24th, 1965, Malcolm X was
He
assassinated.
was assassinated today.
Yep. So those are
He was.
today's dates. I don't know how fun they are. But
I was
they're
gonna say that
real.
last one
Yeah, they're not fun. They're real though.
is real life.
It's just about real.
It is real life.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna carry on to the part that I don't know. I guess we like this part. We try to bring a little positive. Obviously, COVID, and now we've got the Ukraine and Russia thing going on. It's you guys can turn on the TV right now and just be inundated with negativity, and I'm so strong against right now. I would just want to stand up and say we're going to stay in a positive mode. We're gonna keep our blinders on and keep believing and thinking some positivity. So, Amy, bring us some
Sure.
inspiration and some motivation.
I'm just gonna take a minute or two. Like I said, I'm selfish today. Sorry.
No, this is all about you.
I'm gonna take a minute or two to just kind of talk about life and how lucky I am and how blessed I am because so I'm lucky enough to have these 2 jobs where my bosses are cool. I'm gonna get emotional talking
I
about
knew
this.
it. Brittany, I had the over under on a minute. I'm gonna win.
You so
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. This is true. This is real. These are positive vibes, and Amy's bringing a little positive, so I can fill that moment. Bring it with tears, kid. That's good.
Just being able to have two jobs that I don't even consider jobs
Hmm.
is something that I think I take for granted. And sitting in the airport the other day, coming home, I was like, to be able to be excited to come home
Hmm.
to, the people I have, things I have, people I love, and what I get to spend my time doing.
Yeah.
It's a really incredible thing that if somebody told me 20 years ago I'd be
Yeah.
able to spend my life,
Doing
working,
titles.
working with people that I
Yeah.
don't even feel like I'm working with. And then teaching my nuggets. It's a really incredible thing to be able to have a place to come back to and be excited to come back to. Because
Right.
I
heard
don't
you
think
mention
everybody
that.
can do that.
Yeah, I heard you mention that yesterday, and it was really touching because a lot of people sitting at the airport are dreading coming home,
Yeah.
or are I got to go back to work, or like life. Now I would get it if you said I got to go back to the snow or the cold. I get that because that's very relatable.
Yeah.
Nobody enjoys that.
Or the flooded
But-
basement.
And you said, in a couple different conversations, how you were looking forward to coming back, and it was, you've spent your time, you're good. You filled your bucket, you're ready to get back and get into what you enjoy.
And to be able to like I said, to be able to say that, it's an incredible thing. And like even when I was leaving, I was like,
Oh yeah, you were emotional.
I was.
Yeah.
Like I love what I do.
No,
I love the
it's great.
people that I get to do it with. So just thank you for
Yeah.
giving me this place to call home, to call
Yeah.
work that I
We enjoy having
Yeah.
you, and obviously you're a huge part and asset to this company and to a lot of things that we're working on and planning for the future. So
So
it is great.
people, if you're spending your time at a job that feels like a job, maybe it's time to kind of reevaluate what you're doing and spending time doing, because
Yeah.
I always say like you're never too old to find what you're supposed to be doing. So
True.
I'm lucky that I found it when I was 20.
Yeah.
5.
Something. Mhm.
So that's my little motivation.
Great.
When you love what you do, you never really work. So
true.
thank
So
you
true.
for the people that I'm around.
And thank you for allowing me to be one of the people that you are around. My motivation is it will coincide with a little bit of Amy there. I'm going to touch you guys on complaining, and I just kind of realized. Not realized. I mean, I guess I've really known this, but it's just it's hitting me a lot more loud. Is Facebook being this place to kind of vent and not really being a place of connecting and things as it was so much for. So oh my gosh, I woke up today, I have a cough. It's going to be a horrible day. Poor you. Get over it. So here's my little don't complain motivation. These following stories that I'm going to tell you are very true, and they've all happened so it kind of sets a tone for where we're going to go here. May 26, 2003, Aaron Ralston was hiking. A boulder fell on his right hand. He wound up waiting 4 days, and then he amputated his own arm with a pocket knife. On New Year's Eve, a woman was bungee jumping in Zimbabwe. The cord broke. She fell into a river and had to swim back to land with a broken collarbone through crocodile-infested water. Matthew Brobus was hit by a javelin. David Strangle was punched in the mouth by a kangaroo. Weird, but true. The most amazing part of all of these stories is when asked about the experience, they all shrugged their shoulders, smiled, and said, it could have been worse. So go ahead. Tell me you're having a bad day. Tell me about the traffic. Tell me about your boss. Tell me about the job that you've been trying to quit for the last 4 years. Tell me the morning is a townhouse burning to the ground. Tell me the snooze button is a fire extinguisher. Tell me the alarm clock stole the keys to your smile, drove it at 7 a.m. and crashed it to crush your happiness. Tell me how blessed are we to have a tragedy so small that it can fit on the tip of our own tongues. You see, when Aaron lost his arm, he was speechless. When someone is assaulted, they don't speak for 48 hours. When someone is murdered, you have to send out a search party to find the voice of the parents. Most people have no idea that tragedy and silence have the exact same address. So when your day is a museum of disappointments from events that were outside of your control, when you find yourself flailing in an ocean of why is this happening to me, when it feels like your guardian angel put in his 2 weeks notice 2 months ago and just decided not to tell you, when it feels like God is a babysitter that's always on the phone, when you get punched in the esophagus by a fistful of life, remember that every year 2 million people die of dehydration. So it doesn't matter if the glass is half full or half empty. That's water in the cup. Drink it and stop complaining. You see, muscle is created by repeating lifting things that have been designed to weigh you down. So when your shoulders feel heavy, stand up straight. Lift your chin. It's called exercise. Remember that life is a gym membership with a really, really complicated cancellation policy. Remember that you will survive. Remember, things could be worse. Remember, we're never going to be given anything we can't handle. When the world crumbles around you, you have to look at the wreckage and build a new one with the pieces that are still here. Remember, you're still here. The human heart beats approximately 4,000 beats per hour. And each pulse, and each throb, and each palpitation is a trophy engraved with the words, "You're still here. You're still alive." Act like it. Don't think about what can happen in a month. Don't think about what can happen in a year. Just focus on the 24 hours in front of you and do what you can to get close to where you want to go. Stop complaining. My motivational minute. Whew. Took a little breath, but it's out there. And I got a little emotional writing that because it's power of your mind, and you put it in your mind what you want it to be.
And it's hard when it's surrounding you. It's hard when it's constantly at your fingertips and it's something like, I used to remember scrolling through Facebook and it's just like pictures and fun stuff, and
There's so
now
much toxic.
where are we?
The toxic voices are around us.
And they're so loud. Yeah.
And it's just I'm overwhelmed and inundated with those toxic voices, and I'm choosing to take a different path. And I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain at all. I recognize and realize that there's a lot worse out there.
Mhm.
One day at a time, kids. One day at a time. So thank you guys for listening to our positive vibes and motivational minutes. We encourage you guys to again go back and listen to all of it. And Amy's being shorter doesn't mean that they have less content. You saw the emotion in her just sharing that story because she's real. It's happening. She's living it. We're doing what we do every day because we enjoy it. We're living it. Yeah, I told my daughter the other day that as I get older, as things become a lot more clear to me, things are different. They're changing their priorities.
Yeah.
What's important. And this segues into our next segment of our give backs and you guys kind of sharing in with what we're doing and wanting to reward you for that. I mean, we're sitting here thinking, wow, what a great idea. Let's reward the listeners for kind of paying attention to us, giving us a few minutes of their day to maybe be inspired, maybe be motivated, maybe be educated by something that our guests say. We've had some really strong guests on this month with my dad. we had Eileen on, we've had Faisal on.
This was a great one.
It
This is gonna
really
be hard to
was.
top. Our guests this month have
Just
been
true
insanely
professionals.
awesome.
Top attorneys in their field doing a great job. And you know, Brittany, I have nothing but great and positive things to say about your hard work in you know, bringing this together. And
We love Brittany.
it's, you know, I don't think that we can do this without her.
No.
And, you know, she's ingrained herself one more level into the business by, you know, getting into some things where she said to me the other day, you can't let me go now because I have the passwords to, you know, doing things. And I'm going, ooh, not that I had any intention of letting her go, but ooh, that was deep. And
It's real.
That
Real
kind of
talk.
hit me, and I went, well, oh, okay, well, we'll just you know, write that down. That's nice to know. So,
Forever, I say.
absolutely, and I value that. I hope that you are a forever person here, and this is what I try to create, and this is the culture and environment that I'd like to see. So, without talking too much longer, let's get to our winner of the Inspired giveaway. To our listeners for paying attention, for being great in what they do, and asking questions.
There's a lot of
and
things
sharing.
in here.
I think we got 15 or 16 this time.
16.
Yeah, we got 16.
Is Melissa still
So-
in here?
You know,
Cannot win twice. So if
She'll
you
be
pull her-
back next month.
If you pull her name, that's fine. But sorry, we you know. It's,
she just logged into.
yeah, I see that. She just logged in. No.
For this only. This
Yeah,
is
it
only the
doesn't
only
count,
reason she
right? Yeah, it's like,
came in
wait a
and
minute.
commented.
What time do you think they'll be doing that drawing?
She wants her name on top. That's why I'm shaking
Right,
it. Do
yeah.
you want to pick the winner?
No, I would love for you to do it. I
You
would
sure?
love. Yes, I would love for you to
I
do
picked
it.
last time.
I know. I'm. Let's just keep going. Just don't pick Melissa again. And the winner of a Starbucks gift card this month is bum bum bum. What does that say?
D.
D.
That's my mom.
Of course it is. She listens one time and she wins.
She commented on your inspirational
She did, she
stuff.
did.
Okay, so Brittany's family can't win.
Okay, so
Next
we're gonna
month.
have to start putting a Melnicki restriction on this. Congratulations, Dee. You have a winner must be present. That means you have to come to the office to pick up your prize, take pictures with the staff,
Hang
and
out with us.
hang out with us, and,
Bring
you know,
us Starbucks.
continue to do great things. So we have a gift card for her to, you know, share and celebrate. Thank you so much for being a listener and watching. What a
Is D on right now?
She's not.
oh my gosh.
She's
Never-
she's at an appointment. Okay.
Okay, all
Should I
right.
pick a new winner since winner is
Yeah,
not present
winner
right
must
now?
be present, Dee's not. And next, no, we'll honor Dee as our winner for February. That's pretty outstanding. So,
Melissa said put D on title talk.
God.
oh, I would love to have Dee on Title Talk. We'll tear it up. So let's go into now why we do what we do, and if the next piece is you know, Melissa, then you're not picking anymore. We've been doing this, and you can see the movie playing in the background. I am so moved by this venture. Brittany had it on the calendar when we did our planning meetings, and I just kind of glazed over it and was like, this is a good idea. I like it. Now it's actually happening, and you know, we had one lonely bin sitting out there, and we are up to 7 bins now.
Look
that
at those.
we are
That video that's scrolling.
absolutely. I never in my mind thought that this would be what it is. We are going to deliver 7 full crates of food to Together We Cope tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you all who gave. Thank you all for who participated and believed in us and really stood behind us for this wonderful give back. This is what brings me to work every day. This is what inspires and drives me, is to make a difference in the community. And I think that my team is starting to really believe this and see my interest in it and excitement, and they're starting to get on it as well. And again, I have Brittany to thank for this opportunity to deliver these, and we're going to be going tomorrow sometime to do this. So keep an eye out for our posts and
Yeah.
pictures, and probably do a quick little live for you guys to show you the drop off. It is absolutely a wonderful thing. Do you have anything that you want to add to that?
I was just gonna say, I think the coolest part about this give back was that the people that were donating that weren't like affiliated with us,
Not at all.
which has been the first time that I can actually like recall this happening.
Literally people in the community.
Yes,
Just
people in the
coming in.
community. We were getting phone calls saying, "I want to donate. Where
Yes.
can I drop it off at?" We had Miguel brought some food from people that he plays soccer with that wanted to
Absolutely.
donate and help out with this. So the
Absolutely.
fact that next door, during the title talk that we did with
Eileen
Eileen, they
saw
brought a giant
the
cart over
wagon
with
in,
stuff. Like
yeah.
it's incredible to see how many good people are out there, and I just want to keep trying to align us with them.
That's right.
Um,
That is exactly what we want to do.
So yeah, and if we talked about before, we are affiliated with Homes for Heroes. So if you are a hero, please reach out to us for your next real estate transaction, and we will do everything we can in our power to save you as much money as possible.
Absolutely.
Our blood drive is coming up in about a month. The end. We'll see what
Is that when
happens.
when are we doing that, Britt?
It's March 24th
Toward the
or
end of March?
25th.
It's one of the 20s.
It's that
So,
last week in March.
You don't know this yet. This is my March push, and I would really like to.
Do you know this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like to? I would like to just kind of start this.
I don't like on the spot stuff. My
I know,
stomach is.
that's
I
what's
feel
awesome.
like I'm gonna Ralph right now.
I would like to do a March challenge
Okay.
for at least the three of us, and I'd like to get some of our listeners to jump in as well. But I would like to do a March weight loss challenge
Oh God, help me.
for us and whoever wants to participate, and the winner to get a gift card for dinner. Now I know it's oxymoronic to lose all the weight and then go out and have dinner, but I would like to sponsor this motivation piece to we all do. It's an accountability thing. We all kind of we weigh in, and whoever loses the most weight for the month will be the winner of this gift card. And I think it will be holding each other accountable. I think it and I'm not gonna lie, some of it is for my personal kind of motivation
Dude,
to click
I
mine
gained,
back.
I gained like 7 pounds on vacation,
Right.
so I'm in. Like,
So I know Brittany said that she would be interested. I knew that you would be down for it. I'm sure that a few of our listeners will jump on this with us as well. So if this is
Carol,
something,
I'm in.
yep, I knew it. So if this is something you
We
guys
should-
want to participate
I have
with,
an idea.
we will obviously talk a little bit more next week about it. What I'd like to do is start to get people to sign up. Basically, just let Brittany know you're in, and we will have the list of folks that are in, and send us a picture of your of the scale with your current weight on
Not
it.
holding dumbbells, not holding.
No, exactly. This is on the honor system. I mean, we're really doing this thing to benefit all of us and listeners as well. Let's do a weight loss challenge. We're obviously going to do the blood drive as well, but this is something that I'd like to add to the motivation.
Right before
and
spring break,
inspiration.
too.
Absolutely. I think it's perfect to do as we get into the summer and kind of kick off what we're about to do together in the coming months. So that was just my little behind the scenes surprise. So let's get these folks out of here. What do you think?
All right.
You got a quote for
I
today?
do.
Give it.
Going back to my work not being work.
Okay.
Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Steve Jobs, BT Dubs.
I don't need a perfect life. I just want to be happy, surrounded by good friends who love me for who I am. Pretty cut and dry,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have enjoyed today's show, if you guys were touched or moved, send us a shout. Let us know how we're doing. Send us a review. Share this through the social media places. Let's get this thing out there. I think that what we're doing is more than just talking about title. I think what we're doing is bigger than just title. And what I've continued to tell the team here is the goal is to inspire and move beyond us. It's not about us. It's just being bigger than us. Everything that goes on is just bigger than us, and I want a team of people that do that, and that means you guys as well. So please continue to share and like and talk this thing up a little bit. Let's get this thing out there to some more viewership, and let's see what kind of a difference we can make. And let's challenge. I challenge you guys to really speak about the good things that Inspired Team is doing, because we truly are dedicated to doing this. And we thank you guys for watching weekly, and the fun that we have, and the laughs, and the chuckles, and all of the goodness that we do. But most importantly, we appreciate you guys as our listeners. So why don't you take them out of here today? You want to do this? Oh, that's great. That's good. My name is Drew.
My name is Amy. We are Inspired Business Group.
We are Inspired Business Group, and we're thankful for you.
Stay safe in the snow.
Yep, be careful out there, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Start thinking about that weight challenge. Start thinking about, let Brittany know, register, and we'll get this thing on the calendar and get it going next week. So until next Thursday, we will see you guys. Take care, everybody. Happy weekend.
Almost.
Well, there you have it. That is it for this week's edition of Title Talk. Be sure to head over to our Inspired YouTube page and subscribe and like. And make sure you follow the team on Instagram and Facebook. Join us again next time for more tips and knowledge from the industry pros. Thanks again for listening.